There are two main ways to season carbon steel skillets, either using a stovetop or using an oven. This video is going to help you decide which one will work best for you with your pan in your particular kitchen. Now, at a high level, both methods work very well. And since 2018 here on YouTube, I have been doing seasoning videos with carbon steel skillets. And we have shown over and over with both of these methods that you can season your pan one time and just start cooking and get non-stick results. Now, I will put links to step-by-step clear instructions for each of the methods, either below or at the end of this video, should you want to check those out. How do you choose between the two? There are two main decision points, decision factors. The first thing that you want to consider is your pan's handle. Some handles are oven safe and some are not. So your first decision point here is to determine whether the handle on your carbon steel skillet is oven safe or not. If it is oven safe, then you can choose either method should you want to. You can use the oven or the stovetop. If your handle is not oven safe, then you are limited to stovetop method only. With an oven seasoning, typically the oven is at 450 degrees Fahrenheit or higher for a couple of hours, and that long-term intense heat would damage the handle of a pan that is not oven safe. The second decision factor to consider is the type of stovetop that you have. I have a gas cooktop here. Gas works really well for stovetop seasonings. If you have a flat top stove, an electric, an induction, so on, it can be more difficult to season a pan on a flat top stove than on a gas stovetop. And in that case, you might want to use your oven. Now, why does a gas stove work better than a flat top stove for seasoning carbon steel skillets? It's because the heat, the flame hits the bottom of the pan, and then it goes outward and around and up the sides of the pan. You get heat on the sides of the pan. You can season not only the cooking surface, but up to the rim of the pan very easily on a gas cooktop. On an induction or an electric flat top, the pans tend to heat mostly where they're making direct contact with that flat top stove, and the heat does not transfer as well up the sides of the pan. And that can make it a little more difficult to get even seasoning all the way up to the rim of the pan. In that case, you might want to use your oven. Now let's get out into the weeds of carbon steel seasoning a little bit here and provide a little bit more depth and detail. Between the two methods, I personally prefer the gas stovetop method, mostly because it's very fast. With a brand new pan, I can go from pan and packaging to having that pan seasoned and ready to cook in less than 15 minutes. The seasoning you get with the oven method, it works just as well. It just takes 3 or 4 hours. And because when we season a pan, we bring oil up to its smoking point, that can put some odors in your house. I would much rather get those odors out of the house in 10 minutes rather than having the entire house stink like burning oil for 3 or 4 hours with the oven method. However, sometimes the oven method is your best choice. And over the years, I have shown in many seasoning videos that with either of these methods, you can season your pan just one time and just start cooking. You don't have to season over and over and over. You can, of course, do so if you want to, but in my experience, I like to season once and just start cooking. Now, when should you use these seasoning methods? The good news here is that you can use either of these seasoning methods with brand new pans. You can use it for their initial seasonings. You can also use these methods for maintenance or touch-up seasonings, or if you cook something and stick something or pull some seasoning off your pan, you can use these seasoning methods on an ongoing basis. They work very well for that. The one exception here is with a Matfer Bourgeois black carbon steel for the initial seasoning for the matfers. I talked to them directly and they encourage you, and they have not changed their recommendations. They encourage you to do that oil, potato peels, and salt method for the initial seasoning on the matfers. However, once you have done that, you don't have to keep using that method down the road for subsequent seasonings. You can do stovetop or oven. Now a little bit more depth on the various pan handles and how they are affected by seasoning choice. These are two Debouille carbon steel skillets, both in the Mineral B series. This one is a regular series Mineral B. This one is the professional model. The professional model has a cast stainless steel handle. It is oven safe. Cast stainless steel handle, no maintenance required there. You don't need to season the handle. The regular series has a coated handle, which also has a little silicone plasticky medallion in it. This one is not oven safe. Stovetop only, no maintenance on the handle. Something like a baking steel also has a little bit different shape, also a stainless steel handle, no maintenance on the handle. Something like a matfer bourgeois, even if you use the stovetop method regularly for this pan, it has an uncoated strip steel handle. You might want to occasionally get some oil on this handle and do an oven seasoning and do a little maintenance on the handle as well. This Lodge carbon steel, I looked at this guy online for well over a year and could never figure out this handle and how that might affect seasoning. Finally, I bought one and I came to realize that you can just remove the silicone handle protector. Once you do so, then the pan can be seasoned in the oven, and it has an uncoated carbon steel handle. Might want to wipe that down and do an oven seasoning on that handle every now and then, or you can season it on the stovetop. Moviel, for example, this handle has a treatment, but it is oven safe. It does not need any maintenance. It does not need to be seasoned, but you could season this pan in the oven should you want to. And here I want to bring up other pans like this Smithy. The Smithy and the Lodge as well both come with a pre-seasoning. They don't come with 10 layers of seasoning, they come with 1 layer of seasoning. I kind of tend to think of that as a starter seasoning, but if you want to re-season those pans or add more layers of seasoning, either method will work with the Lodge and the Smithy. In particular, the Smithy has a big, sturdy, uncoated, I believe it's cast iron handle. That handle needs some occasional maintenance. So even if I were seasoning this pan on the stovetop, every now and then I would get some oil on this handle and perform an oven seasoning just for handle maintenance. Now, what about some troubleshooting advice? What if you have already purchased a pan with a coated handle and you have an electric flat top or an induction and you can't season a pan like this using your oven? What do? There are a few alternatives here. Do you have a barbecue grill with a side burner? You can season one of these pans outside on your deck on a barbecue grill burner. Likewise, a camping stove, a portable butane stove. You can use a backpacking stove in a pinch. Do you have a friend with a gas stove? Could you season a pan on your friend's stove and maybe cook them a nice dinner in your nicely seasoned carbon steel? That's an alternative. And the third thing you can do here, as much as it pains me to say this, is you can just try to not worry about it too much. You can go ahead and season your pan on your cooktop. I would not put oil up the sides of the pan, or if I did, I would wipe it out really well, put my oil mostly on the cooking surface and season it as best you can. You will be able to season the cooking surface, and that is by far the most important part. You will probably not get even color from rim to rim simply because those flat tops do not heat the sides of the pan as well as they heat the cooking surface. Okay, look for links to those seasoning videos with the clear step-by-step instructions for both methods. They will either be somewhere on this screen or below the video. Carbon steel seasoning can be a little confusing at times. I hope this video has cleared up some of that confusion and helps you choose the best method for seasoning your carbon steel skillet in your kitchen. Thank you for watching. See you again next time on Uncle Scott's Kitchen.